All right, it's happening. My name is Mike Harrington, and I blew out my speakers today in my car because I was listening to Nicki Minaj. I was vibing. A lot of times when I'm driving, I'm in my vibe. You know, my life is a movie. I'm in my character arc. Music was up a little loud. I haven't been listening to Nicki Minaj in a while, so I got pretty hyped, and my speakers broke. I think it was from the cold because it was like 1 degree today, which is not enough degrees. There should be more degrees of temperature. So those are broken. So I guess I can't vibe as hard as anymore. I can't vibe that much when I'm driving now, which is too bad, but I guess it was worth it. I really do that when I'm driving. Like I have a pretty good time. I have to drive far for work a lot, and people are like, "Oh, that's unfortunate." But it's pretty nice because it's like the only thing I have to do when you're driving to a place. You can't do anything else. That's all you have to do. Even though sometimes I do. One time I was in traffic, like real bad traffic, where it's just upsetting that there's so many other people on the earth, and just when you're like stopping and going every 5 seconds and you're going like 10 miles per hour. And it was going to be like an hour and a half of that. So I decided to go on Instagram Reels while I was driving. I didn't even do that thing where you like check your phone or a text real quick and send it while you're driving. I was just straight up on my phone like a lot more than I was driving. And people were getting pretty mad. People were driving around me and they would do that thing where they'd like drive past me and look, and then if I looked up at them they'd go like what are you doing? And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm on my phone. I feel like I can safely operate my vehicle at these speeds while being on my phone. I've had a pretty good week. I got a haircut, and my barber was wearing a scarf. It was a new barber that I haven't used before, and he was wearing a scarf, and he asked me what I wanted, and I said, you know what, whatever you think will look good, because I trust a barber who's wearing a scarf. I trust a metrosexual barber and women, white dudes who like act kind of black, and black guys are the people I trust to cut my hair. Mexicans and Hispanics I do not trust cutting my hair. And I'm just basing that off the one time I went to a like Hispanic barbershop. Basically what happens is when they're done cutting your hair, you also look like you're Hispanic. And then the more I thought about it, the more I realized like Hispanic or Latino people, they all have the same haircut. It's like combed down and cut straight across, hard edge in on the side. That was a bad one. It doesn't feel good when you show up somewhere with a new haircut and people laugh at you. But that did happen and I deserved it. I was in a hurry. I was going to work and I needed to be presentable for this job. And I just stopped in at the nearest place, and I think even the other barbers were like, "Oh man, like he must have been a new guy who didn't know to not cut everybody's hair the way that his hair was cut." But it grew back, and then you know I never went back there again. Another big update and development in my life is I've implemented a new sock policy, so it's pretty groundbreaking. I've decided that whenever I wear pants, I'm going to wear long socks. And this is something I'm just always used to wearing ankle socks, but like when I'm at the gym and I'm wearing gym pants and it's colder out, so I've been wearing like thicker socks. Then I thought, what have I been doing my whole life? Like I'm burning through all my ankle socks. I don't need to wear those in the winter, so I don't. I tried to explain this to somebody and they were like, "But why?" And I was like, you know, they didn't understand. And I guess it's just one of those things. I mean, you either get it or you don't. So that's been my life. I know a lot has been happening this week. There was the Elon Musk hand gesture or Nazi salute. And I think I have a unique take on this because a lot of people will say it was just a silly hand gesture. He didn't know what he was doing. And it is. Even if he did know what he was doing, it is still a silly hand gesture. To salute Hitler, to do a Nazi salute, I mean, that's just silly either way, even if he didn't know that's what he was doing. Then other people will say he did know what he's doing and he's a far-right extremist and he's trying to, like, you know, galvanize or mobilize the people to, you know, create some alt-right army. Most people are on either side of that. I don't even know if I want to say what mine is. I just think, and I'm going to pull this video up while I say this, I just think that Elon Musk salute, he's too smart of a guy to have done that on accident, right? And if he did want to do it as a joke or as like a troll, which some people are saying, he has too much to lose. He has too much at stake. Like, that could affect his bottom line. That could affect his investors. So stuff like this is going to be bad. I'm bringing it up.
Are you a home?
It just makes me wonder how, like, maybe some of the people who are on the world stage are like actors. Like, sometimes I think that the governments of the world, all they really want, it doesn't matter what we're talking about, whether it's equality, whether it's abortion, whether it's, is Elon Musk a Nazi? As long as we don't talk about how we're paying too much in taxes and should overthrow the government, I don't think it matters. I don't think they care what we're talking about. So it's like maybe like everybody has to do something. Like every few years they're like, hey, Elon, you have to do a Nazi salute to help clog the media cycles. And he's like, all right, I guess. Like, yeah, it's my turn. I mean, is that what actually happened? You know, probably not. That's probably not actually a thing. But it just makes me wonder. I mean, look at that. That's a full... You're going to tell me. That's... I mean, he is channeling the Fuhrer. You could tell in that Nazi salute, he's hoping that the Supreme Leader returns in the time machine that he may or may not have built. That was an aggressive... That's an aggressive Nazi salute. He pauses. He's looking to the southeast towards Germany. I don't know. I just feel like society is, in the world is just, it's crazy. Like, I was watching some reality show with my GF, and it's just so over the top and ridiculous. It's like, I feel like I'm in a movie, like that Idiocracy show. I don't even know what that is. I just understand what the reference means. But I just feel like I'm in something like that. I'm in like a movie about how ridiculous the world is, and like this is what the people in the movie are watching on TV. You know when people watch something in a movie on TV and it's just like absolutely ridiculous to demonstrate like the times they're in? I feel like that when certain things come on, because I have kind of started, but yeah, no, is Elon Musk like a actor in the world stage? Do they have like quotas? Like all these big companies have like ESG scores and stuff. Like they have to do certain things. It's like money aside, they have ESG scores. So it's like when Bud Light does that transgender thing, they have to do stuff like that to increase their ESG score. Like that wasn't a mistake by some girl who just decided to do that. Like it's not a mega corporation who has checks and double checks and has board meetings and everything to like make sure before they make some big decision like that they're like, look, we need you to do this because we're trying to promote this for whatever reason. Like, they have all this weird stuff they're trying to promote, like climate change and like transgender stuff, you know? All like a bunch of like weird, silly stuff like climate change so that they can invent new taxes. But that's where I feel like a lot of this comes from with the ESG scores and these big corporations and the meetings that they have together, like, you know, the Bilderberg meeting and, you know, like the World Economic Forum. Like, these giant corporations get together and they're like, look, we have common goals and interests and we can work together in a way that will benefit all of us. And they're getting more organized with it. And I think that that's why they do stuff like this. They're like, Bud Light, yeah, you're going to take a hit, but we need you to put like gay people and rainbows on your can, and we need you to put a transgender on to be your mascot for your beer for a little bit. Bud Light is like, oh, really? Can we do another one? Can we have a global warming one instead? And they're like, no, you got to do this. We already found the gay guy that is going to go on your can. ESG scores. They're real. It's like a social credit score for companies. But, you know, I'm rambling. I feel like I should just talk about what kind of socks I'm wearing and how I listen to Nicki Minaj, but I can't. I like to talk about the state of the world. I just think things are a lot more complex and sophisticated than people realize, and I think social engineering is a real thing, in that there are factions above governments that try to steer and manipulate society in a direction that will benefit them and the people who have generational wealth. I've been watching The Price is Right, the 70s version, because it was a simpler time. It was nicer. Everybody just seems pretty chill. And it's interesting to see like what the sense of humor was back then. It was a little less politically correct, but it's also like no one cared. Like, if he made an off-color joke or something, they would pan to the guy he was saying it about, and he was like, yeah, I get it. Like, I feel like with me growing up and where I was, that's how you knew that you were good friends with somebody, is if you could make a politically incorrect joke about them and it was just still funny and like no one cared and you both laughed. So I've been watching that. It's also interesting to see how like everything was all so manual and just like when like the doors open, there's just two guys pulling the door, and there's a bunch of camera mistakes that they make. And it's just interesting to think about what people's lives were like back then in the 70s. Before they got to The Price is Right, they got in their station wagon. There were no seatbelts in the car. They were drinking and driving legally. I'm pretty sure that was legal in the 70s. Couldn't you just drink and drive? That wasn't even a law. It wasn't even like it was accepted that it's like okay, like it was like actually not that long ago. But I think it was just like straight up legal. They were like, of course you can drink and drive. What else are you going to do while driving? Instagram Reels hasn't been invented yet, so you can't do that. But yeah, back to the Elon Musk thing, I don't know. Like he acts like he's like this self-made billionaire. It's like didn't his dad own an emerald mine? Like, if your dad owns an emerald mine, I just don't think you can get to like certain levels of success without being part of a cartel. Like, you have to be part of some bigger group in order to get to a certain level. Because they would have too much power to like knock you down and not let you get up there. Like, you know, these people are organized in a way. Also, I guess the drones are still happening in New Jersey. It's interesting because everyone's like, oh, what are the drones? Are they aliens? Who are they? It's such a big mystery. And then the president is like, yes, the military is aware of what the drones are, but they don't want to tell us. I think they should tell everybody, but they don't want to. And they know what the drones are. They don't want to tell us. I know what they are. They told me. If the military knows what they are but isn't telling the people what they are, it's because the drones are military drones. I think that's like another direction society is inevitably headed towards is drone surveillance. There's just going to be drones flying around all the time. Like, if you think about the way things have progressed, you know, there's cameras everywhere, there's more police, surveillance. Like, this is what they want. This is what the state, the country wants. A country is like a business. And the people going to their jobs and working and paying taxes, like, they are the fuel in a way. It's like input versus output. China is the goal for every country, pretty much. Like, China is like the blueprint that a lot of other countries want to get to. Their people are in line. They are in order. They are an efficient machine. They are an efficient entity. And so all other countries want to do that, but they have to do it slowly. They have to do it step by step. And so I think they're just testing out the drones in New Jersey because no one cares about New Jersey that much. Even people in New Jersey know that it's shitty. And they're proud of that. They're like, yeah, New Jersey sucks, but we live here and we have no other identity. We're tough and cool. I drove through New Jersey once, and all I saw were piles of sand and poor people. I think it's just where they keep all the sand for, like, New York City for when it's snowing and icy and stuff. And, so, yeah, they're definitely just government surveillance drones. And they're just putting them out there just to see how the people react. Like, there's not an uprising. No one's freaking out. People are like, oh, cool. Cool, there's drones. Like, it's not that cool. Like, government surveillance actually isn't that cool. But, you know, what are you going to do? But that's going to be coming out slowly over time. I remember, like, in Massachusetts, near where I used to live, there were a bunch of Black Hawk helicopters flying around all the time, like 10 feet above the trees, like right over my house, like so low. And eventually they were like, oh yeah, we're just kind of like flying around and practicing some stuff. It's like, I don't think you're supposed to do that. I don't think you're supposed to be doing live military drills in just like the regular civilized friendly neighborhoods that I live in. But they did. No one did anything. And they were doing that in LA too. It's like, get out of here. I don't want to see it. That's what they do. They creep in, saying it's military police. But yeah, there's going to be drones everywhere, and there's really nothing anyone can do about it. I'm not going to do anything about it. I don't know. Maybe there'll be some kind of, you know what I'm going to predict, though? I've been saying this for a long time. There's going to be a cyber pandemic. The internet is going to shut down. And it's also going to be wiped clean and, like, edited. So it's going to be, like, apparently, like, oh, the whole country's infrastructure is so dependent on the internet now, and we haven't set up the proper, like, defense systems for it. And they've already, like, put this idea out there, but I have known that it's been coming for a long time. And the way you know that it's coming is because the World Economic Forum talks about it. Just like they talked about a pandemic happening, like, 2 years before it happened. They had a pandemic exercise with all, like, these major companies and stuff in October of 2019. And then it just happened to happen. And now they're talking about, what if there was they're like, hey guys, what if there happened to be like a giant cyber attack on the internet and no one could use the internet for a while? That would really suck, huh? And they're like, yeah, it would. We're definitely not like planning to do that or anything so that we can, reestablish and order the internet in a way that we want it to be. But I think they are. I think that's why that would happen. And when I say they, just mean like these. There are theys. People are like, what do you mean they? It's like the Bilderberg Group, the World Economic Forum. Like there's groups. There's groups of people that have a lot of money that like work together and do real sneaky stuff to try to, affect the world and society in a way that they think is cool. But I don't think it's that cool. But it's all right. All right. That's it. My name is Mike Harrington. Thank you so much for listening, and you should subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and have a good day.